What's up, YouTube channel? It's Stars Down again. Go hard, go home. You see, got a young lady here on the screen. They call it the glow up. I said I'm gonna do a reaction video to her today. This is what hookup culture is doing to you. She says, and she's saying it's the truth. So I'm gonna see what she's gonna talk about. I listened to a little bit of her, maybe about 2 minutes before she sounded pretty decent. So I'm gonna do some commentary on it today, and see what the rest of what she had to say. So, hey, before we get into that, y'all hit that subscribe button for me. You know, I never ask for cash apps, never ask you for money, none of that stuff right there. That's going to be my thing for the whole time I'm doing this. But I do want subscribers. So y'all hit that for me, let me know. So, hey, I'm going to go ahead and start playing her. Y'all hit that button, and let's see what she's got to say. She's a very good-looking lady. So, I'm pretty sure that a lot of guys are watching this, and probably women too. And, I think that this is the type of woman that a lot of guys in the manosphere are complaining that they can't get. And that's why I need to start listening to what these women are saying. But let's go ahead and see what she's got to say about this. See what she's going to talk about hookup culture today.
When I was younger, I would tell myself that hookup culture was not affecting me and that it was normal and I wanted to be doing these things. But deep down, when I got to the root of it, I was lying to myself. Hi ladies, welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Alicia Gogan. If you are new, and if you are new, don't forget to subscribe because it's a good time over here. In my early 20s, I used to go out to clubs and go out with my friends and drink and have a good time. And in that stage, I casually hooked up. I wouldn't say I was someone who did a lot of one-night stands or someone that was heavily in the hookup scene, but I definitely rode the hookup culture wave. It was really normal to—
Okay, that's her nice way of saying she did the cock carousel for a little while. I don't know if I can really say it like that, but I'm gonna do it. But at least she's being honest. So let's see what she's got to say about that.
To be a side chick or have a side bae or like a weekend bae where you would meet up and have a Netflix and chill cuddle, or if you're going out, you know that's going to be your person that you're going to go home with. And in my 20s, I was really stuck in a cycle of entertaining and talking to men who gave me the bare minimum. I would light up so heavily when he sent me a text, or he replied back to my Snapchat story, or when he liked my photo, the photo that I only posted so that I could get his attention. And unfortunately, a part of trying to get a guy to commit or trying to see where things go, I indulged in hookup culture. I would hook up with guys way too soon. I would hook up with guys who still were not being clear with what they even wanted with me. And it got to a point where I was so depressed and so unhappy.
Okay, she was running into some of the game homies. And she got, look, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Something about the game, they kind of seeing where that's going. So you got to kind of adjust when you can see that the other person is seeing where it's going, okay? What the Bible even says, don't, what you going to spread your net in the full view of the birds? You ain't catching nothing.
Because hookup culture was also just so normal and all my friends were doing it, like everyone is doing it, it was really hard for me to be able to self-reflect and look back and be like, okay, hooking up with this guy who didn't want to even commit to me and didn't care about me didn't actually make me feel good. Now, of course, I was taught as a young girl to not just give your body up to men who don't care about you or sleep around. The type of guys that I was hooking up with, they weren't one-night stands. I built some form of connection with them, but I was falling in love with the things that they were saying to me, but not their actions.
Game. See, that's what the game is. You getting somebody to fall in love with you, but not your actions. I told y'all it's finesse. But women are getting a little bit more wise at that now. This is an extremely young woman to be talking about this, because you get mostly talks like this from women in their 40s, late 30s. This woman looks like she's early 30s, 20 something. She said when she was in her 20s, so maybe she's 30 something. But she's early 30s. She can't be late. I don't know. I have to look her up. But you really only get this kind of talk from older women and then less attractive women, and then rarely from this type of looking woman. And that's what I'm trying to tell guys. They're going to be, the good looking women that you want to go after are going to be hip to some of this junk that you're getting sold on. So you're gonna have to do something a little bit better. That's just my opinion now. Everybody won't feel that way. But here we go.
And again, because hookup culture was just so prevalent in that time and still is now, I got desensitized to the repercussions that hookup culture created. And I started to realize that hookup culture was really toxic for me and not helpful when I would wake up the next day from a guy, let's say, that I went over and Netflix and chilled, or went out to the club and he was my weekend bae that I would always like go home with. When I woke up in the morning and I didn't get a certain text from him or the amount of attention that I really wanted for that next progression, it started to make me realize that indulging in hookup culture isn't getting me anywhere. Hooking up with him didn't help me get anything. I didn't actually gain anything from it. Hookup culture teaches you in society that it's for your liberation as well as a woman. You're gonna feel so much better about yourself. You should have the ability to sleep with whoever you want or hook up with whoever you want. And although that is true, I think that there's a lot of downfalls to participating in hookup culture that a lot of us women are not being aware of, or the conversations are not being had. Some women in society, they normalize hookup culture to their friends. Of course, men do the same thing. And it's time for us to be very, very real with the fact that hookup culture does affect us. And I want to talk about some of the ways that hookup culture is toxic specifically to women.
Now, the crazy thing about it is, like, a lot of guys been saying this for years, but the problem is when the women, it's not a problem. What I'm showing here is that when the women start saying this shit for themselves, guys, there's about to be a shift in what they want and what they got going. And you're already seeing the shift, okay? And she's showing you here, she's going over all the things, but I'm telling you, game ain't gonna work. You're only gonna be able to get the low class chicks. This woman don't got nothing. If she's got a tattoo, I can't see it. I can't see it. That is definitely not a wig on her head. That shit is way too slick down. That's her fucking hair. This woman is fine. And this is what a lot of women, a lot of guys are complaining about. These, see, y'all asking this type of woman right here to settle. But I'm doing this type of video to show you they're not about to. They're growing. And as they grow, you must grow. You always have to grow to a higher level than that woman. The woman wants to grow with you. She wants you to be here. But if she gets here with you, it's over. So here we go.
I preface this with saying there is always going to be exceptions to the rules. There were some girls who commented on my hookup culture TikTok being like, hooking up can be fun, you can learn a lot, you can get a lot of experience, this, that, and the third. And what I'm gonna say is, most likely this video is not gonna be for you if you are a woman who truly knows that hookup culture does not affect you. Although, I will say I've seen it in so many of my friends, and I've seen it in myself before. When I was younger, I would tell myself that hookup culture was not affecting me and that it was normal and I wanted to be doing these things.
Let me correct myself. She got a tattoo on her shoulder. It's right there on her shoulder. That top left blade. The woman still look good.
But deep down, when I got to the root of it, I was lying to myself. But if you are somebody who thinks that you are the minority, just remember that you are the minority. If you feel liberated, if you feel like you're having the best time of your life and you're happy with indulging in hookup culture and it's not affecting you, then you can watch this video if you want, but just know that I am aware that there are certain women who can handle this type of lifestyle, but I do think it's way less than we like to tell ourselves or admit to. I truly think that giving up your body to a man who...
See, because that's the type of women that can handle that lifestyle are pretty much freaks. And these are going to be the ones that... You probably... Yeah. See, she won't say it that way. Hoes can handle that lifestyle. Y'all go ahead and say it for you. And that's really what it is. But let's go ahead and see what else she got to say.
is not going to commit to you, just to try to see where things go, is adding to another layer of pain that you are going to feel when this man inevitably does not commit to you. And I think a lot of us women, sometimes we give up too much too soon, thinking that it's going to help us connect. And on one hand, I am not somebody who fully advocates for waiting till marriage and being celibate for the rest of your life. I think it's important to realize just how much you might be giving yourself up to a situationship where you're just seeing where things go. A lot of us women, we learn how to engage in physical connection and intimacy with a man from either, I'm not going to say the word out loud, or from the guys that we hook up with. And now I'm not going to say that's completely wrong or bad to learn from either source, but it is important for you to realize that when you are hooking up with a man, he has his own likes and dislikes, his own desires, also his own history, his own wounds. So this man might be teaching you something in the bedroom, something that he likes, but that is completely not aligned with what you even want, what you desire, and so forth. And a lot of us women, instead of realizing, oh, this is something that I do not like, he's showing me something that I don't like to do, I don't want to do this again when I hook up with him, sometimes we tend to just forget about what we actually want, or we don't have the voice and we don't say no to things. And then we start to learn how to be that girl, be that woman, or that guy, even though that's not even who we really are. Or maybe when you're casually hooking up with people, he might say something that will create a brand new insecurity for yourself.
Okay, let me kind of stop her right there, because I think women have not still figured out that they work different with sex than guys do. We can have sex with somebody and not really worry about it, but women tend to hook up with, you know what I'm saying? They tend to bond with the people that they have sex with. That's why guys view cheating so much worse than women do. They know you can do it with other girls and not really care. But if your girl has sex with another dude, there's a chance of them being together. And see, like, no. And I think they just really haven't figured that out yet. Which is one of the things I'm going to be going over on the channel. Y'all remind me, drop the comments and remind me about this type of stuff. Because I be forgetting, I be smoking. Y'all already can see that. So, but remind me about that, because we do. I would get to it, but they haven't figured this part out for the most part. And I'm betting on that according to what she's saying. We got about a 30-something-year-old woman here. So.
And again, I'm not saying that your own boyfriend couldn't create a same insecurity, but if you're picking up certain insecurities or you're morphing into becoming a certain girl for a man who is not going to commit to you, who doesn't care about you, and who really only cares about himself, and now you are walking around with certain wounds and insecurities from someone who is no longer even in your life. Another reason why I think hookup culture can be very toxic to women is that it actually disconnects us from our own bodies. I think there's this lie that us women will tell ourselves this, or hookup culture in general will say, oh, you gain so much experience by hooking up with different people, and same thing with like dating, right? You date a lot of people, you get to know what you like and you don't like and this, that. But I think that there's definitely a fine line, and when it comes to getting intimate with someone, especially someone who is in the category of just being casual, because he is not committed to building a deeper romance, intimate connection with you, you might be hooking up with someone who just wants to have a good, fun time. And I do think a lot of men who are in that space, they don't really care to know your likes and your dislikes, or what feels good to you and what doesn't. And sometimes in the moment, we just kind of want to present our best selves and have the most fun. But when we take our attention off of what actually feels good to us and being able to even communicate that with a man, we disconnect from our bodies. A lot of the reasons why a lot of us women don't even enjoy getting intimate with a man is because we don't even know what feels good to our own bodies, because we haven't been able to voice that. we don't even know what feels good because nobody's explored that with us. We've kind of put our wants and our desires to the side just to connect with this person in real time. And because this person is not trying to commit to us or is taking what he's learned from everything else in his life and applying it to you, thinking that it's going to work, it might not work. Another reason why I think hookup.
And you know what? I'm starting to get an idea about this for another video, because see, women kind of see marriage or getting with guys and stuff like that as like a job or some kind of servitude. I mean, like, y'all have heard them saying things like that. And this kind of explains some of that, though, because maybe they feel like that, hey, guys are not really caring what they want, or you got a bunch of guys in hookup culture and game guys. I mean, like, you know, they don't really see what that's going on, but they do know something's going wrong with them. So they're trying to figure that part out. We need to be done figure that out before they figure it out, so we know what to do next. Not saying like getting an advantage on them, but I'm just saying like the guys is gonna, if you're gonna build yourself into you, yeah. That's why I watch stuff like this. So I'm listening to what she's saying, and I'm understanding it. I'm like, okay. That's why you might see some of this. This helps my ability to talk to women too. Empathy for other people and understanding of their plight will help you be able to talk to them. It's one of the things that guys always try to explain to women, but I don't try to explain it to them because they kind of really don't care. So it's like, just use it for your advantage. That's all I'm saying.
Culture is toxic to women. I might trigger some people here, but it's that you are a woman and you do get emotionally attached to men. And I personally believe that we tend to emotionally attach a lot more than men will. I'm not going to make a blanket statement here and say that no men ever attach to a woman. And I'm also not going to say that there are not that minority of women who can hook up with a man and have no emotional attachment. But if you're watching this video and you are like me, there's definitely some emotional attachment there. And a good question to ask yourself to know if you're emotionally attached to a man who you say you're just casually hooking up with is if he leaves you unread, if he goes and talks to another girl at the club that night when you're really wanting him to talk to you, or if you stay the night and the next morning he's not wanting to bring you out for breakfast and he's kind of like waiting for you to go ASAP, then most likely your emotions are involved. Most likely you have some attachment to the outcome of being with this guy.
Look, they got some really pretty eyes. Look at him right there. That was a good pause. But either way as it goes, she see, they don't want to admit that they actually hook up with, when they hook up with guys, they become emotionally attached. Okay, they don't want to admit to that. And this is one of the problems I be telling guys about. Them not admitting to it is going to cause issues for you right now. Okay, but talking to them ain't going to work. They got to figure the junk out on their own. So you just got to know what you got to do in the process of them figuring this junk out. But it's like she's saying everything I said before she even got to speak on it. They hook up when they women actually scientifically release a hormone, oxytocin, something like that, some junk when they hooking up with a guy, and they bond with this dude, and that's nature. They need to understand their own nature. They don't yet. They're in a state of evolution, and guys gotta know that part.
That can be very detrimental when you have given up your body to this man. I hear this from men all the time. A lot of them can emotionally completely detach when it comes to hooking up with girls. A lot of the time, just how men operate, this is not to give them excuses, and we can go into a whole other video about that. But I think a lot of us, sometimes we think when a man has treated us bad, or we see the guy that we really like going out and hooking out with somebody else, we tell ourselves, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna act like him and I'm gonna do the same thing. But it's important to acknowledge that you might be different than him. He might be able to go physically hook up with someone, but emotionally completely detach and not care about about this person, but can you do the same thing? And again, ask yourself those questions. If you try and do the same thing, but the next day you are upset when you don't get a text back from the guy that you hooked up with last night, then you are different. You have your emotions involved, and that's okay. But it means you might have to go about things a lot differently. These are some things that I started to do once I realized that hookup culture wasn't really helping me and it wasn't making me feel good about myself. I wasn't getting any more intimate with knowing my own body and just loving on myself. So when we find ourselves in hookup culture, usually we're not really clear on what we're wanting. We just kind of fall into the cycle of casually hooking up with people. So get clear on what you're looking for right now in your life. Are you in your single era? Are you in a time of your life where you truly know and you're like that minority of women who can participate in hookup culture, you know your body, you really enjoy it, and you're having a good time? Then amazing. Are you someone who is looking for a relationship? You know that you want a boyfriend that's gonna maybe lead to a husband, and you want that commitment. Once you become clear on who you are right now and what you are looking for, it will definitely help you be able to weed out some of the guys that are going to pull you into that hookup culture, the guys who are expecting you to hook up and casually have fun with you. Another thing that's really important is if you're currently talking to a guy.
See, you just started talking about avoiding certain types of guys. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. That's why I'm making the videos and telling guys, like, you might have to pull yourself away to some of this stuff, because this type of junk is being put out on open and they're going to start staying away from. That's why a lot of guys can't get that 20%. And they're having a problem in the 80%.
Right now, and you've casually been hooking up, or you know that it might come, it's always good to get really clear with the man that you're talking to. I used to get into situationships all of the time, and a lot of it was because there was no communication. If I communicated with a guy from the beginning that I was looking for a relationship, I was looking for something serious, I wasn't looking to just casually hook up, I would have weeded out a lot of guys. Now, I'm not saying that some guys are not going to tell you what you want to hear and then lure you in. But once I started getting better at being clear with the man and actually communicating that, whether he would like it or not, whether he would stay talking to me or not, really helped me not fall into hookup culture. There were guys in my life who were actually really respectable, and they were like, honestly, thank you for letting me know that you're looking for something serious and that you don't just want to hook up, but right now, like, I'm in a period of my life where I just want to casually hook up and just see where things go, this, that. And once we got clear on things, sometimes I would still stay in it because I still needed to go deeper and do some more deeper work within myself. But as I got older and started healing parts of me, once I had communication with these guys and a guy would tell me he is not looking for a relationship, I saved myself the energy and my body from being wasted. I know that sounds like a bad term, but that's kind of true. Another thing that I think is so important for us women to understand is that every new person that you get intimate with, you're going to have to learn their body. They're going to have to learn yours. Everything is always going to be really new. So don't believe the lie that hookup culture sells you about how you get so much experience by hooking up with different people and seeing what you like and you dislike. A little bit of that could be true, but I think what is more important, especially for us women, is that we start to discover what feels good to our bodies, which we can do ourselves. So that is having a self-pleasure practice. That is also just putting ourselves first instead of learning what he likes and what he wants from me. What do you want? What feels good to you? What would you like him to do for you? Those are things that sometimes we can't communicate with even a man that we're even in a relationship with because we don't have that connection to ourselves. Even if you're not there yet with having some type of self-pleasure practice, just having an overall healthier relationship with yourself and getting to know yourself and spending time with yourself and learning how to even just be single on your own is going to be so crucial and so helpful for you to be able to show up into a intimate situation with a man. Now, if you're in this cycle of hooking up with men who are not committing to you, and you're realizing that hookup culture is just, it's not helping you feel any better about yourself, and you're kind of lost, then you need to go watch my latest YouTube video about how to be happy single and decentralizing men from your life. The tips in that video really helped me get out of the cycle of hookup culture, and that video will be linked on the screen so you can go watch that right after this. I know this one might have been a little hard to hear. Just know that you are not alone, and you can absolutely have a better relationship with yourself and with men as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Okay. I think I didn't hit the pause in time. I just paused that. Okay. So, okay, she went over a good couple of things there, and I'm going to check the other video out about decentralizing men from your life and stuff like that. Because it's kind of what's already happened with women, because they don't need guys anymore since they have their own resources. So they can kind of decentralize this thing. The Fresh and Fit guy, Myron, he always talks about we live in a decentralized sexual market. And the guy's kind of right about that one. And that's what she's talking about now. Once women had their own resources, they kind of really they didn't need guys for the same reasons anymore. So now they're going to be focused on what they like, what they want, and if they like you. That's why guys need to become ambitious and become the best type of guy that they possibly can, because a woman already has resources. She's going to have to see you as the top dog. So I'm just putting that one out there. I'm out of here on this one. If y'all like this, y'all hit the doggone subscribe button. And as like I say, drop the doggone comments. Let me know what y'all think. We're going to keep talking about it. It's a couple of years experiment for me. I'm building this channel really so I can show my son what not to do. So, let's roll.